The tech industry once promised high-paying jobs, prestigious careers, and job security for anyone who could code. A software engineer could graduate from college or coding bootcamp and immediately secure a $150,000 job with signing bonuses, stock options, and unlimited perks. Companies like Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft competed aggressively to hire talent, offering 4-day work weeks, free gourmet food, and nap pods. But those days are gone forever, and the era of high-paying tech jobs has officially ended. Today we're exploring what happened to the tech industry, why high-paying tech jobs disappeared, and what this means for millions of people who built careers on the promise of tech wealth. This is the complete story of how the tech industry collapsed from within and destroyed one of the most lucrative career paths in history. To understand what happened, you have to go back to 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic transformed the entire tech industry. During the pandemic lockdowns, demand for software products, cloud services, and digital transformation surged across every industry globally. Tech companies responded by aggressively hiring, expanding workforces by 50 to 100% to meet unprecedented demand for engineering talent. Companies threw money at hiring, offering $200,000 compensation packages to mid-level engineers in competitive bidding wars. The bar to entry became laughably easy. Fresh CS graduates could negotiate $150,000 offers from multiple companies simultaneously. Companies built massive engineering teams with the assumption that the pandemic-driven demand would continue forever. But in 2022, the demand suddenly disappeared as the economy cooled. Inflation surged, and investor capital dried up. Tech companies found themselves massively overstaffed with expensive engineers they hired during the pandemic boom. Investors demanded that tech companies cut costs and return to profitability, sparking the largest wave of layoffs in tech history. Google cut 12,000 employees, Meta cut 21,000 employees, Amazon cut 18,000 employees, and Microsoft cut 10,000 employees simultaneously. If you're watching this and you're terrified that your tech career is ending before it started, like this video to show that career uncertainty matters. And subscribe because we're exposing how industries collapse and what happens to workers when the boom ends. The 2023 layoff wave eliminated 262,735 tech jobs, which was 59% higher than 2022's total. In 2024, another 150,000 plus tech workers lost their jobs across 549 companies. In 2025, the layoffs continue with 22,000 plus tech workers losing jobs already, including 16,084 cuts in February alone. The total layoff toll since 2022 is over 600,000 tech workers fired as companies restructured. Experienced engineers with 10 plus years at top companies lost their jobs and discovered they couldn't find new work at the salary they previously earned. Senior engineers from Meta, Google, and Microsoft discovered that the job market had fundamentally collapsed and salaries had dropped 15 to 30%. Top engineers started accepting jobs at 20 to 30% pay cuts just to remain employed in the industry. Some engineers experienced 50% salary cuts when changing companies, while others were demoted to lower levels with junior pay. The psychological impact on tech workers was devastating. People who believed they had stable, high-paying careers discovered they were instantly vulnerable. Simultaneously, the glut of laid-off experienced engineers flooded the job market, competing directly with new graduates for the remaining positions. This created a buyer's market where companies could demand more experience, higher skills, and more education for the same positions. Companies raising the bar for hiring meant entry-level positions became rare as companies eliminated the junior engineer pipeline. Recent computer science graduates faced 6.1% unemployment in 2025, nearly double the overall unemployment rate. Computer engineering graduates faced 7.5% unemployment, the worst among all college majors, despite CS degrees guaranteeing the highest starting salaries. This flip represents a fundamental shift. CS students went from being the most in demand to the most oversupplied in less than 3 years. CS graduates are now competing with thousands of experienced engineers for the few remaining positions. Many new CS graduates are forced to accept jobs outside of tech or take contract positions with no benefits or stability. Simultaneously, software engineer salaries dropped 9 to 15% across the board in 2023 to 2024, something that hadn't happened in 20 years. The median software engineer salary fell from $130,000 to $150,000 in 2022 to $105,000 to $130,000 in 2025. Entry-level positions that paid $100,000 in 2022 now pay $66,000 to $75,000 in 2025. Mid-career positions that paid $150,000 to $200,000 now pay $86,000 to $120,000. In the UK, tech salaries dropped 20% in a single year, with roles that paid £100,000 now advertised at £75,000 to £80,000 maximum. Companies using the market collapse as an excuse to permanently reduce salary bands for all positions. Workers who negotiated hard for higher pay in 2021 to 2022 are now underwater on their actual market value. Offers that once came with $50,000 signing bonuses and $100,000 annual stock grants now come with no bonus and token equity. The end of the golden age became crystal clear in 2024 when tech CEOs announced that AI would replace engineers. Satya Nadella revealed that AI now writes 20 to 30% of Microsoft's code, reducing the need for large engineering teams. Companies announced plans to replace engineers with AI tools like GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT rather than hiring new engineers. Snowflake revealed that 30% of engineering work could be automated by existing AI tools. This created a perverse dynamic. Companies laying off engineers while investing heavily in AI to replace the remaining engineers. The narrative became clear. The next generation of tech companies would operate with 70 to 80% fewer engineers than current companies. This means that even if the economy recovers, the demand for engineers will never return to 2021 to 2022 levels. Companies will maintain the same output with far fewer human engineers supplemented by AI coding assistants. This structural change in the tech industry represents the permanent end of the high-paying junior engineer market. Tech companies also introduced cutthroat management practices to force engineers to become more productive or leave. Amazon mandated office attendance every weekday, eliminating the remote work benefit that attracted talent. Google demanded 60-hour work weeks from its Gemini AI team, creating burnout and forcing out less dedicated workers. Meta and Microsoft announced they would fire 5% of their workforce annually regardless of performance as low-performer management. Google cut manager and vice president roles by 10% to increase individual contributor workload. The dream of cushy tech jobs with excessive perks evaporated as companies embraced Elon Musk-style brutal management. Tech workers who once had multiple job offers and negotiating power now faced a choice: accept worse conditions or leave tech. Geographic salary compression accelerated as companies reduced location-based salary premiums. Remote workers in expensive cities like San Francisco used to negotiate SF salaries from anywhere globally. Now companies explicitly adjust salaries to cost of living, so remote workers in cheaper areas face 30 to 50% pay cuts. This geographic arbitrage destroyed the ability of workers in expensive cities to command premium compensation. Global competition also intensified as remote work made Indian and Eastern European engineers as accessible as US-based engineers. Companies started offshoring engineering roles or hiring globally at much lower rates. The promise of tech being location-independent and globally competitive turned into a race to the bottom on salary. AI and ML engineers maintained higher salaries due to genuine scarcity in the job market. Cybersecurity specialists continued to earn strong compensation due to rising security demands globally. Cloud architects remained highly paid due to digital transformation requirements, but the general software engineer role became commoditized as supply massively exceeded demand. Entry-level developer positions nearly disappeared, eliminating the traditional junior engineer apprenticeship. This created a crisis for recent graduates. They couldn't get entry-level jobs and were too junior to compete for mid-level roles. The tech industry that promised to democratize opportunity actually destroyed opportunity for new workers. The damage extends beyond salary and jobs to the very fundamentals of what made tech careers attractive. Job stability evaporated. Engineers could be fired at any moment despite strong performance. Career progression slowed. Raises and promotions became rare or non-existent. Work-life balance disappeared. Companies demanding longer hours with fewer benefits. Stock compensation became worthless. Vesting schedules meant years of delay for equity that lost value. The psychological contract between tech companies and workers was broken. No more loyalty, just exploitation. Many experienced engineers who built their careers in tech are now questioning whether to stay in the industry. Some are switching to non-tech industries where salaries are lower but stability is higher. Others are pursuing entrepreneurship, freelancing, or completely different careers. The generational talent loss from tech is just beginning, but it will reshape the industry for decades. Universities are seeing declining CS enrollment as students realize the golden age is over. Coding boot camps are closing as graduates can't find jobs to justify the tuition costs. The pipeline of new talent entering tech is drying up, but demand won't recover until years after supply is shrunk. This means tech will face severe talent shortages within 3 to 5 years as the current generation ages out. The most terrifying aspect of the tech job collapse is how quickly opportunity disappeared. In less than 3 years, one of the most lucrative industries in history transformed into a cutthroat, oversupplied market. Millions of people made life decisions based on the promise of tech, wealth, and job security. They took on student debt, moved to expensive cities, and built lives around tech careers. Now those careers are disappearing along with the salaries that justified the entire lifestyle. The era of high-paying tech jobs is not just over, it's gone forever. Even if the industry recovers, structural changes mean the compensation will never return to 2021 to 2022 levels. The days of fresh graduates earning $150,000 Experienced engineers earning $300,000 and tech workers having job security are finished. The tech industry has shown that no job is safe, no salary is guaranteed, and no industry can sustain indefinite growth. This is a warning to anyone considering tech careers or betting their future on any single industry. The most lucrative industries eventually collapse, compensation always returns to normal levels, and job security is always temporary. The tech industry's collapse proves that even the hottest industry in the world cannot escape the economic forces that affect all industries. The era of high-paying tech jobs is over, and the era of tech workers struggling like everyone else has begun.